Hi everybody, it's Joel from LowerMyPressure.com. Now I'm very pleased and excited to bring you this next video user guide because it's a very innovative product and it's something that I use on a daily basis and I really enjoy using on a daily basis to help me lower my high blood pressure. And that would be the Resperate by InnerCure. Now when I first show this device to family and friends, they go, "Ooh, electronic device, must be hard to use." And I always say, "You can breathe, can't you?" They go, "What are you talking about?" I said, if you can breathe, you can use the Resperate. Now the Resperate is based on slow therapeutic breathing to help us lower our blood pressure. Now what I mean by therapeutic breathing is that InnerCure has done exhaustive research and found out that the magic number is 10 when it comes to lowering blood pressure. 10 minutes in the therapeutic breathing zone of 10 breaths or less per minute. Now how in the heck would you measure how many breaths per minute you take? Now that's where the Resperate comes in. It uses a combination of headphones which plug into the unit, which give you, and also there's a strap that goes around your midsection or upper chest that measures how many breaths per minute that you're taking. Now it gives you voice prompts as well as really beautiful musical tones to tell you when to inhale and when to exhale, and thereby slowly reduces your breathing until you're in that therapeutic zone of 10 breaths or less per minute. Now when you do this, your body relaxes, your muscles relax, especially the muscles around the blood vessels, they relax, your blood flows a lot freer, and it reduces your blood pressure. Now they found that not only do you get an immediate effect of lower blood pressure, but when you practice this over a period of time, you get a cumulative effect where your blood pressure remains low all day long. So what I want to do in this video user guide is to step you through how to use the Resperate. It's not hard at all, and to give you really a good idea of what a Resperate session is like. So just follow along and then I'll see you as we go. Of course, the first thing we want to do after we get our Resperate and unpack it is we want to put our batteries in so it can power up the unit. I'm going to take my finger and go ahead and push straight into the Resperate little battery compartment release latch there. Lift up just a little bit, then push in again, and then pry it on up. There's a nice little picture on how you should put your batteries in, so I'm just going to pause for a second and put my batteries in. I've got my batteries installed according to the picture on the Resperate, and I'm going to go ahead and put back on the battery compartment door. Just slide underneath there, and then it's going to lock into place nicely. There we go. Got our batteries in, we're ready to go. Well, during this video guide I'll be showing you what each one of these buttons are for on the front of the Resperate, but in the meantime I wanted to show you the most important button of all, of course, which is the on-off switch. It's located on the right hand side here, this orange button. They've also got on this side your little headphone plug-in, your stereo headphones, so you can hear during your Resperate session. On the other side of the Resperate you're going to see this blue button. And the blue button is to enable or disable the guided help during your session. It's the voice that will be talking to you, telling you various statistics while you are in your Resperate session, and also whether or not you're breathing at the correct rate, if you need to speed up, slow down. It's a really nice feature. It's kind of guided, assisted help. If you find that it's distracting, you can push the button and you can disable that voice. On this side, in some models, they also have what's called a data port, and that's for some more advanced functions that normally the ordinary consumer would not use. So there you go. We're ready to start with our Resperate session, and again we'll be describing what all these other buttons are for when we get going. So now that I've got a close-up of the Resperate keypad, I want to explain to you exactly what you see here and what the keys do. The very top key looks like a clock, and that's exactly what it does during a Resperate session. If I push the button, it'll tell me how much time I've got left in my Resperate session. The music note that's in the lower right-hand corner stands for the fact that the Resperate's got 4 different tones built into it, and every time you push it, it changes the musical tone that you hear in your headphones. So you may find a tone that you like better than the one that starts playing when your Resperate first powers up. In the lower left-hand corner, you see I, and that stands for information. And at any time during a Resperate session, if you push it, it will tell you how much time you've spent in the therapeutic zone. The up and down arrow keys are for your volume control. If you want to bump the volume up, push the up arrow key. If you want to go lower, push the lower arrow key. And so that's a basic overview of the keys that you find on the front of the Resperate. In order for the Resperate to know how many breaths per minute you're taking, you're going to use this ingenious little sensor belt. I want to make a little close-up just for a second to show you that on one side of the sensor belt you've got some writing, and that side should always go towards your body. When you have the sensor on, you shouldn't see the writing at all. It should be hidden because it's up against your body. Now we're going to go ahead and zoom out, and I'm actually going to show you how to put the sensor belt on. It's really simple. Well, putting on the Resperate breath rate sensor is actually pretty simple stuff. Everybody has their own individual style, and this is the way that I like to do it. I take the flat side with the writing, I put my thumb there, put my index finger on the other side. I'm going to take this hand, drop it down by my side, take my free hand, go around my back and feel for the elastic cord, and then just kind of guide it around the front. I'm going to go ahead and hook up my belt buckle. You're going to hear a positive click as it locks in place. I'm going to adjust it the way that I like on my chest and take up any free slack with the adjustment cord here. Notice that the electric cord that comes out the bottom of the sensor is pointing downward. It should always be pointing downward and never coming out the top. So I've got my breath sensor on. I'm ready to start my Resperate session. Okay, so we're all ready to go. We've got our batteries put in. We've got our headphones plugged into the headphone jack. Got my headphones on. I've got my breath rate sensor on. I like to wear it in the upper chest area, but you can also wear it in the upper abdomen area right above your belly button. Doesn't make any difference whatsoever. What's most comfortable for you, and that's what it's all about, is being comfortable, having fun, and being nice and relaxed during your session. I'm going to go ahead and push the orange button, which is going to start my Resperate. And the very first display that I'm going to see are the initials U1 on the screen, and that stands for user number 1. Now, the Resperate can hold statistics for up to 2 people in your household at a time. So if you want to change user number 1 to user number 2 so that they can hold their own individual statistics, it's really simple. As soon as you see U1 on the screen, just press your up key on the keypad and it will change it to number 2, U2. By the same token, if you want to go back down to U1, press the down arrow key if you see U2 displayed on the screen. It's really simple stuff. If you don't quite understand what I'm talking about, just look at the manual. It will clear it up in just a couple seconds. The very next thing after the user is displayed, it will show you how many minutes for that individual user that you've been able to stay in the target therapeutic zone for that week. Remember, you want to try to do at least 40 minutes in the target zone per week for the Resperate to have a nice effect on your blood pressure. The next thing that will happen after it displays how many minutes you've stayed in the therapeutic zone, it will ask you to breathe normally. And this is what's called the recognition phase during the Resperate. And the Resperate at this time will measure how many breaths you're taking so that it can start the program at a comfortable rate for you. So for every breath that you take, inhale and exhale, you'll hear a tone, a confirmation tone, and you'll see a little triangle appear on the screen. Now what it's doing is it's measuring how many breaths per minute that you're taking. Once it's done 4 breaths, you'll see 4 triangles, the program will start. Well, I wanted to show you the true Resperate experience without the intrusion of my voice. So this next little live sequence is an actual Resperate session. I'm hooked up. I'm going to go through the breathing recognition phase all the way to the point where I get into the therapeutic zone, and I just follow the musical tones. I follow the voice prompts. It's that simple. So without further ado, the Resperate.
Welcome. Breathe normally. tones. Therapeutic breathing zone.
Well, that's how simple it is to use the Resperate. Just follow the voice prompts, just follow the beautiful musical tones. Your whole goal, of course, is to get into that therapeutic zone, and you notice at the end of the sequence that it announced to me that I had reached the therapeutic zone, and then a timer displayed on the screen. Now that timer, for each minute you stay in the therapeutic zone, will give you one little check mark. And your goal, of course, is to fill that timer up with 10 check marks, which means that you've been able to stay in the therapeutic zone for your goal of 10 minutes. It is possible to go over the 10 minutes, especially once you get better at using the Resperate. For each minute over the 10 minutes that you stay in the therapeutic zone, you'll notice that you'll get another little mark above the timer itself. When the session is ready to end, a voice will actually prompt you and tell you that the session is ready to end, and it will say goodbye, and the unit will automatically shut off.
The session is ending soon. Bye for now.
Well, I can see by my display on the Resperate that my session's just about over. I'm nice and relaxed. I've been doing my breathing exercises. Remember that you should never do more than you feel is comfortable for you. Breathe at a nice, comfortable rate. The Resperate will automatically keep up with you. If you can't keep up with the Resperate, it'll automatically do the breath rates higher to adjust to what you're capable of doing. It should be fun. It should be easy. It should be really relaxing. I'm having a hard time keeping on track here because I'm nice and mellow. This is a great device because it gives us as individuals a chance to make a decision about our health care and a chance for us to have control over our own health care instead of popping pills made by pharmaceutical giants. We are lowering our blood pressure through therapeutic breathing and doing it on our own, and I think there's a lot to be said for that, and there's a lot you should be proud of if you decide that you want to use the Resperate. You should be using it. I use it about 15 minutes a day, as a matter of fact. I've made that commitment to myself to keep with the Resperate and to use it that much. If you don't feel you can make the commitment and put in the amount of time that's necessary to lower your blood pressure by using the Resperate or any other device that uses paced breathing methods, then you should by all means not do it and go ahead and pop the pills. But in the long run, I think that you're really going to get a lot of benefit out of using the Resperate. And let's face it, if you can't spend 15 minutes a day on yourself for your own health, you probably have other things that you need to address than your high blood pressure. Not meant to insult anybody, but it's just a simple fact that you probably have other problems that you need to address. So I hope that this video guide helped you make a decision as to whether or not you want to try the Resperate. And remember, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so in my eyes it's worth the effort to at least give it a try. If you have a family member that does not have access to the internet and hasn't had a chance to see this user guide and you'd like them to have a copy of it, by all means go to my website, lowermypressure.com, send me a little note, and for free I'll send you a DVD copy of this video user guide presentation anywhere in the USA. So I hope that this has cleared up some of the facts about the Resperate. I hope that you'll give it a chance, and I wish you the best of health. Thanks for watching.